Hi, welcome to another episode of Workout from Home. Joining me today, Mission, and today I'm going to share with you episode 12, which we're talking about joint pain and weight training. Right now, what you're going to expect, what you can get from today. This huge disclaimer for you: I'm not giving you advice. I'm not giving you general instructions or anything. This is just sharing my personal take and just sharing some suggestion. Right, it's not even recommendation, it's just suggestion. So some mostly personal opinions on how you can go around it. Now, if you have joint pain or if you have some sort of serious injury or anything, you might want to seek consultation from your practitioner, i.e. your whether it's a doctor or it's a surgeon or even it's a physiotherapist. Work with them first. Yeah, this one is a special one. Is for just for general public. If you have joint pain and how can we combat this, if you will, whether it's arthritis, whether it's joint pain, or whether it's just some what I call immobile, if you will, example, some stiff tightness, pretty much the same category, pretty much the same with the same not guidelines, pretty much the same opinion, and I hope that you guys can benefit something from it. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, before I start anything, we do some simple things. So I'll just share with you some simple ideas. I'm going to break it down in very layman logic terms, so at least you guys have an idea. Yes, you may have knee pain, you may have some joint pains, it's perfectly fine, but you shouldn't be like keep living it, thinking that as you age, that should be the norm. To be very frank, it shouldn't be the norm. If you do properly, if you do weight training properly, it might be able to help you to benefit to prevent all this problem. If anything but helps to improve the situation. Right, so once again, I'm here to clarify, I'm not giving you recommendations, I'm not giving you instructions or guidelines, I'm just giving you just some general take, in some case study at the end, how that maybe you can, how you can do your weight training, and even though you still have the joint pain so and there, right? So if you're doing this, I hope you can benefit something from it. Alright, so we're going to go right straight to the point. Now, the opposite of weak is strong. Right? Now, you may be thinking, why are we learning this? I'll explain to you later, right? And the opposite of weak is strong, right? The opposite of being stiff is mobile, right? The opposite of being vulnerable, the opposite is invulnerable. In this case, if you're very brittle or very soft, the opposite is like hard, like that, right? So once again, I repeat that, if the opposite of weak is strong. I really want to emphasize this thing. Because today when I share with you, whether you have knee pain, whether it's back pain, elbow pain, or even neck pain, right? It's not the end of the world. There is still things that can be done. Now, before I do anything, maybe we address something. Maybe you might be thinking, why do I have knee pain? Why do I have joint pain? Right? Now, of course, there are many factors that contribute towards this. But I'm just sharing, just a personal opinion. You might have some injury here and there in the past. Those are legit statements. For example, I used to play football, then I twisted my leg, I never healed from that. That is legit reasons. But if most of you are watching this, chances are you are not a very active person. And chances are you're not into a very, what I call very rough sport, if you will, like football, rugby, those kind of things. So chances are you are someone that is, you are someone that is quite inactive, quite sedentary, you don't move a lot. To be very frank, it's because of all this inactivity is causing you to feel a little bit pain here and there. Now, as the saying goes, if you don't use it, you will lose it. I repeat, if you don't use it, you will lose it. So meaning, if you do not, let's say, if you do not train if your legs do not have, you don't use your leg strength very frequently. So what's going to happen in the long run? In the long run, your leg will be very, you didn't use a lot, so when you try to move it, if you don't warm it up properly, you do it wrongly, this is where an accident happens, right? You think about a car, imagine your car is on the third gear instead of like 3 gear, you start the engine, your car is going to move one side, and then you stuck a while, so pretty much our joints work like that, right? So what causes joint pain? Of course, there's a lot of reasons, it could be an accident and so on, but to give you an illustration, later we'll talk about, I'll tell you why maybe building muscle could be a way to go to actually work around the problem, if not better improve the situation. right? So once again, I just share, yeah. So far as a recap, just talk about when you're doing all this, when you want to have on why you have on knee pain, probably like inactivity or don't move a lot, those could be actually a contributing factor. However, if your real reason is because you're doing some what I call some dangerous, or not dangerous, some extreme sports, for example, you're rock climbing, you're doing rugby, you're doing football, those are legit reasons. But for most people, you're watching this video channel, it's because of your inactivity. And it's because of your inactivity, you don't move a lot, that is what happens, your joint kind of rest, and suddenly when you put it to work, it's going to give you quite some detrimental effect, right? So now that I talked what causes it, if you will, now I'm going to share with you just some suggestion. Once again, I want to clarify one more time, I do not give suggestions, I do not give recommendations, I do not give guidelines, right? I'm just giving you my personal opinion and how you can benefit you. So it's better you seek professional advice, a practitioner or your surgeons, a chiropractor or physiotherapist before you take this into my suggestion. Yeah, all right. So here's the deal. When you do, so how do you combat this problem? So now remember just now early in the video I asked you what's the opposite of weak? Strong, right? So if you're weak, guess what you need to be? You need to be stronger, right? Because the opposite of weak is strong, right? So if you're stronger, you should be able to you should be stronger, you should be not stronger in a nutshell, not so exposed to all this weakness on my hand over here. So you want the opposite of being weak is strong, so you might want to consider maybe perhaps becoming strong is a way to go, right? Now, how can you be stronger? Well, there's a lot of ways. You could be stronger by, we're talking about physical by the way, you can be stronger physical by doing activities. For example, keep yourself walking a lot, keep yourself running a lot. Those are kind of okay, but it has a limitation. It doesn't help to improve the joint. If anything, but I know quite a number of people when they're doing a lot of when they do a lot of running, right? In the long run, they might have a little bit of joint pain, knee pain along the way. So when I workplace, sometimes there will be members who come and ask like, hey, I'm running for 2 years marathon, and I realize the more I run, the more I'm having knee pain. What do I do? My go-to places usually is I would recommend them to do strength training. Remember, opposite of weak is strong, right? Now, why do you want to be strong? What the strong has to do with my joint? Well, I will give you an example here. So, let's say this is your bone, right? This is your bone. Now, your bone, this is your bone. You want to, then the bone is connected by the joints, right? Let's say this is your knee example. So there's this knee, this is your bone, yeah, and then this is your bone. So there's this joint over here. Now, the joint is, if you think of an outer layer, it's formed by a lot of muscle. So if I want to give you a simple analogy, it's like muscles act like an airbag, right? If the car does not have airbag, and where there's impact, what's going to happen to the driver? The driver is going to head first, land on the steering, and then he or she has an injury, right? There's a higher chance of getting extreme injury. So the muscle acts like some sort of airbag, but a very solid one. The airbag, the great thing about this airbag, unlike a car airbag, this airbag gets to grow harder and harder and eventually become stronger. So that means instead of having your bone as your first line of defense, you now have layers and layers of muscle. So you think like onion like that. It's like a layer and layer and layer and layer of muscles. So like onions, the layers of that. So when you have a lot of muscle, then the good is, number one, there's evidence that shows that you're not so vulnerable to all these like, for example, accidents. You heard of stories of old grandma? You go to the toilet, they fell down, and they have a fractured bone. They do like a lot of stitches. Those are very nasty ones, right? Now, I'm not picking on grandmas here, but I'm just generalizing, just giving an example here. So when your grandma goes to the toilet and falls, she breaks her bone. Why? Because as we grow old, as we age here, the muscle have a lot, and then it gets like an onion. The layer will peel off one by one. So as you age, it will just dry up, if you will. So the way to combat it is to keep building muscle so that it forms like a layer of protection, kind of like how the airbag analogy that I told you about. So if the airbag is getting stronger, getting firmer, you should be able to at least eliminate the problem. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, the muscles are growing, the muscles are getting better, but what is that called? The bone, what about the bone, right? Because at the end of the day, most joint problem is related to the bone. Well, it seems like, again, I am not a scientist or anything. Apparently, when I read some of these articles, read some of the research, it shows that people who have small muscle, usually the bone density is also thicker, which makes a lot of sense. For example, if you have someone who's, I use squat for example, if someone can't even squat body weight, versus someone who can squat like 300 kilos for example, I'm pretty sure the 300 kilos will have a stronger bone, because theoretically, logically, if the bone is very soft and brittle, I don't think he can do 300 kilos without any a lot of horrendous accidents, so to speak. So what my point is that if you have a stronger muscle, chances are you will have a stronger bone as well. So take home point for this one is, when you have joint pain, when you have knee pain, sorry there's a mosquito, right? When there's joint pain, when there's knee pain, what you want to do is to find a way to keep yourself stronger. So the opposite of weak is strong, right? I keep stated at the beginning of the video. So when you're getting stronger, then you can be able to combat the problem, right? Because I said, this is the bone, there's a lot of muscles surrounding around it. So if your muscles are very, very thick or at least solid, it's like an airbag. When there's an accident happen, you have an airbag, boom, the damage is lesser, right? Because the airbag is blocking you. Kind of like same way, like vice versa, if the car imagine doesn't have an airbag and there's impact, boom, head first, the fellow might die. So same, the muscles like the airbag. So the muscles help to protect in case there's any injury. Let's say the bone, the muscles, right? It dropped. At least it dropped the first line of defense. Let's say this is a table, right? Bam, it hits the table. At least you have your muscles, this layer of muscles as a blocking. Instead of like there's no as like those old people like that. If they don't lift weights, they become like very thin like that. So they just knock a bit, boom, then they get all the bone surgery, even though just falling down to the toilet, right? And then there's like people like me and you fall down the toilet. At most, what we're going to do, probably we just pull a muscle and that's about it, right? So something for food for thought. So maybe putting a bit of muscle may be a way to go to help to eliminate, not eliminate, but at least to reduce the impact of the joint pain, arthritis, and so on, right? So now that I've told you what you can do is to create some to be stronger. So let me share you a way how you can be stronger, right? So there's a lot of ways to be stronger. Like I said just now, running models could be a way, but running you build some muscle, later that you don't. Now currently unfortunately there's not much of a better way that I would highly recommend is for someone to do weight training, right? Because when you do weight training, for now is shown, in fact it stood the test of time for decades. As early even as record of early 1900s, there are people who start to lift weights. Alright, so people who lift weights, usually what happens? Are they becoming bodybuilder? Maybe some will become bodybuilder, but not everybody will become bodybuilder, right? Remember, lifting weight is not just because I want to be a bodybuilder or I want to be a strength athlete. It does not have to be the way. If anything but, I'll tell you honestly, it can be a way of life, right? So whether it's going to the gym, working out from home, using household item, remember, the muscle doesn't know whether this is a dumbbell or this is a water bottle. Your muscles just react whatever there's disruption there, it will work. That's how you grow muscle, right? So growing muscle could be a very good way to help to prevent all this knee pain and all those things. Refer back why I keep saying what's the opposite of weak. The opposite of weak is you gotta be strong, right? So when you become stronger, you should be able to reduce all these things, right? Now, thank you for liking the video, right? Now, if you have been thinking like, let's say if I want to lift weights, all right, where do I start? Well, you can go to the gym, get a personal trainer, and work there, right? What if I don't have a gym, or I don't want to go to the gym, or I don't have access to the gym for some reasons? What you can do? Well, you can work from home, okay? Whether it's just to use household item, whether it's a bag of rice, backpack. You have seen me do it before. I've shown you before. So you can go back to my previous YouTube video. Just check out whatever you want to do. The week 1 to week 6, I believe. Yeah, I start at week 6. So you can go back to those 6 weeks and refer back and just have a look, see what you like, pick it, start from there. At least do something. One thing I can show you, unfortunately, let's say you got knee pain, right? If you got knee pain and all you have to do is just lie down on the bed, guess what is going to happen? If you are lucky, probably your knee don't have any pain, but once you start walking again, you are going to get pain again. If you're unlucky, what's going to happen? Well, because you keep lying down on the floor, lying down on the bed, probably you will feel a knee pain, you will still go on, and to make this even worse, your back pain might start to creep in. Why? Because there's a saying, if you don't use it, you will lose it. This statement, unfortunately, is very true. Understand that in our modern society today, we tend to move way lesser than people who are very few generations before us, right? For example, now when we poop, we go to the toilet, we get to sit, right? But in the past, you can't sit, you gotta squat, right? So in the past, there's not so much of cars. Now, you have a lot of cars, it's accessible. You don't even need to go to a shop to buy things. Just stay at home, order online, boom, you get things done. So as these decades are changing, people tend to get more and more inactive, more and more sedentary. So a good way is to get yourself moving, alright? Now, think about it. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. Have you ever heard a cat having back pain? Have you ever heard a monkey having back pain? What about a dog with knee pain? I have yet to come across. If you do let me know. And even if there is, it's probably very rare occasion. Why is that so? Now, I don't have, again, this is just personal anecdotes here. I don't have, this is not a scientific proven or research or anything. My prediction or my theory is because animals keep moving a lot, right? They're not keep restricting staying at one place. You know. Yeah, cats will sleep a lot, but cats are quite active at times too, right? Whereas for humans, we really sit way lesser. We are less active. Actually, all human beings, to be frank, when you are created, we are all created is meant to move one. Think about Stone Age, Ice Age, whatever age you want to call, it's the same. We're all born to like move and move. So as we stop moving, all this start to kind of immobile us, if you will. So like I say, if you don't use it, you will lose it, right? You think about during your childhood time. When your childhood time, right, you can squat down and pick up a book. You can squat down and play bully. You can squat down and pet a cat, right? But if you think about it now, you can't even squat down going to the toilet. Why is that so? My answer is quite simple. If you don't use it, you will lose it, right? Now, does this mean if you lose it, you cannot start? No, you can always start to weight train, right? Weight training, to be very frank, is not as dangerous as how people seem, right? Now, you will always hear that fellow will tell you, oh, I don't do squat because it's bad for my knees. 9 out of 10 people will tell me this, I don't squat because it's bad for my knees. Usually, they themselves have poor form to start with. To make things even worse, they don't even squat deep. They don't even do it properly. And they blame the exercise for their problem. It's kind of like saying, I don't drive because cars create accidents. Well, cars do create accidents, but what are the odds, right? Why bother to go out, right? I don't want to go out because I might get struck down by lightning, example, right? These are, sorry to say, a bit ridiculous, right? Unless you live in a place that's really lightning strikes every single second, then that's a different story, right? But for most people, that's not going to happen. So my point is, it's usually because you do it properly, you have an injury. When you have some sort of injury, you then begin to blame everyone except to reflect on yourself and say, is there something that I can improve? So this is something that you want to think about it, alright? Now, when you do strength training also, when we do strength training, what do we need to do? Now, to be frank, there's nothing you need to do. There are just ways that we can work around it, right? There's just things, just pick an item, move properly. If you watch all my videos, usually I actually share with you some instructional guides, how you can squat properly, how you can lift up the shoulder press properly, how to do some arm exercise, so on and so forth. Just start something like this. Now you have arthritis, I'm very sorry, I feel sorry for you. I really sympathize you, but do not take my advice too literal. Again, this is not advice, to be frank. It's just a personal opinion. I don't think it's a recommendation. Feel free to go and seek professional advice from your practitioners before you proceed with before you take a note about this thing, right? So, one thing you want to take note about, what you want to take note when you're doing all this, when you want to do all this weight training, right? When you do weight training, it's quite simple. Always, when you do, make sure it's full range of motion. Meaning, when you do the exercise, you gotta make sure that you gotta do the form properly. Make sure, example, I use shoulder press. For example, you go all the way up, you go all the way down, throw, right? Then you should be tucking here. So you don't want to, example, if you keep doing like this already, and you don't go all the way down, you don't go all the way up, all the way down, all you do is just wiggle, 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 then chances are, guess who is doing the job for you? It's no longer the muscles, it's your joint. So that's why if you keep flaring up the joint in the long run, your joint will be run out. Some of you guys call it gel, you run out and then you have all this pain. So to avoid all these things, it's good you do it with proper form and you want to do it with full range of motion, right? Now, to also add on a little bit, to echo a little bit on the weight training side, did you know also that if you do your weight training properly, if you progress from time to time, it doesn't, not only you can ditch the, what is that called? Not only you can avoid like being weaker from time to time or to prevent the bone loss and all this joint pain, it helps to improve the situation. It's kind of like, imagine your airbag is double, or imagine your airbag is, I don't know, the material is better, to put it that way, alright? So in other words, the form of protection gets stronger and stronger. It helps to not only prevent the accident, it helps to improve the situation, making you more mobile, making you moving a lot, not so much joint pain, more mobile. You're a happier person, you tend to move more, and all this, so on and so forth. So these are some things that you have to consider. Now, common when it comes to like knee pain or arthritis or all this joint pain, knee pain, all those things, common situation, common question people ask like, hey, Mishan, got a question. What should I wear? Should I wear a knee guard? What color of the knee guard should I get? How many holes should I get in the knee guard? What kind of model should I get? What kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a pad on the back, what kind of padding should I get? All those kind of things. Now, you need to understand that all those things, yes, it helps to support you, no doubt. Not going to deny it, it might be able to help you support, but it doesn't help you to solve the problem. I'm pretty sure if you have a knee problem, if you have a joint problem, most of you want to solve the problem. Alright, picking what knee guard should I wear, asking what supplement should I take. It's kind of like, imagine you're having a cut. Imagine you have a cut in your hand, right? So it keeps bleeding. Instead of asking, how should I find a way to stop the bleeding and improve the healing? Instead, all you want to find is, what color of the plaster should I have? Or how big should my plaster be? What model should my plaster be? So I hope you can see the relevance of that. So my point is, you want to find solutions. Don't just find what I call a band-aid, just stick on it and thinking, oh, you know what, we live for another day, right? You can keep living another day, but as time goes by, you can have all the knee guard in the world. You may have the best, whatever that means, best knee guard material in the market, or the most compact or the most versatile back padding that you can have. Unfortunately, it will not solve the problem. It will only help to support, temporarily buy you some time on the pain. Okay? Again, I don't want to dwell into another chapter. This brings me to another chapter, but I don't want to dwell too much. Is that, do you know that actually when you are pain, whether you're pain or whether you're not, sometimes your body doesn't know. What I'm trying to say here is that, for example, if you have back pain, right? You have back pain, your body signal. That's good. There are quite a number of cases. Most people actually have some sort of back pain or some sort of shoulder pain, but there's some muscle, there's some joint problem, but it doesn't show any pain. It's kind of like it doesn't affect, but actually they're already affected. They didn't know like that. Kind of like COVID, like that. Some people might have the symptoms, some people are non-symptom carrier like that. Kind of like how your joints is. So I'm not going to scare you or anything, but my point is, again, I don't want to talk this topic on because also, to be frank, I'm not expert on pain or this. I've got a PhD or doctorate. I'm not even studying that medical field, so I don't want to touch so much. But my point is, if you do it properly, you instead of wearing what knee guard you want, back to the topic, you want to find a way how you can solve. Because like I say, you currently need knee guard because you think you are weak. The opposite of weak is strong. So instead of stuck in here, you need to find a way to go here, which is strong. So how do you be strong? Doing weight training, right? I know this idea seems quite simple. You might have people who say, if it's so simple, Mishan, why is not everyone doing it? To be frank, it's because not everyone knows how to do it. That is why I created this video. So you guys are this whole YouTube series, so you guys can have a look and see how you can do it properly. Because if you do it properly, it will pay you very great dividends. Mark my words, if you do weight training properly, you try to progress over time, you are very consistent, you feed your body well, you sleep well, you are going to be pain-free. Like, almost, alright, not everything, because there's no such thing as no risk, but the risk is very low. There's no such thing as no, but the risk is very low, right? So you might hear people say, oh, now I go to the next topic of misconceptions. Yeah, misconception, people will tell you, oh, I don't lift weight because I'm bad. I told you just now early in the video. Yes, they do it because the form is wrong. If you do the form properly, in fact, most people in the gym member, right, sometimes they tell me, hey Mission, I got knee pain. What can I do? Usually when I let them do a typical normal squat, for most people, they can squat without any problem, and then I ask them, do you still have knee pain? They're like, no, exactly. So you can always work around the pain, alright? Now, I'm not asking you to discard the pain, but I can tell you, you can always work with the pain together so that you can try to, in the process of trying to heal, if you will. So how do you heal? Is by doing strength training, you have to build muscle around the joint. Kind of like how I told you the onion example like that, right? It's a bone, it's a onion, then you have to build up, so it makes you better, alright? And misconception number 2 is, people will tell me, oh, lifting weights is bad and dangerous. I saw X fellow doing it at the gym, or I hear someone from the bus, someone from the bus, he's doing weight training and then he injured, that's why he cannot work, now he has to become a bus driver, right? So there's a lot of misconception over there. So first thing first, to clarify, most people have some kind of injury, unfortunately, in our common society, it's kind of very, it's sad, no doubt, it is very sad, but most of the time it's because A, they themselves don't live properly, or B, they overtrain, or C, they are doing some sort of very funky movement. That means they don't control, they just swing around, or they don't do it properly. In other words, the form is not correct. Okay, so I always emphasize on doing a proper technique. Okay, if you see how I train people, people will think that I'm some sort of external auditor like that. I really do the heck of that technique. You've got to keep this up, do this straight, don't lose your form. All those things are very crucial. So gentle reminder, it's okay to actually do some training. Now those people who have pain, if someone come and debate to me and say, hey, you know what, I hear so and so in the bus, he told me that if you lift weight, you end up like Ali at the bus stop where he injured his knee, now he can only be bus driver. That's completely false, alright? Even if there is, if it's not saying it doesn't happen, it happened, but that's not the main factor. Are you telling me all the grandma in the world that has back pain is because they lift weights? Are you telling me all the uncle have knee pain when they play badminton is because they play badminton? Right? Because they lift weights? Right? So just giving you some perspective over here. So it doesn't have to be, every single time it has to be like blaming all on the weight. It's all on the weight, right? It's like fire. If you use fire properly, you can cook food, right? You could light up a candle. You could use the fire and cook some food. Make some decoration, something like that. But if you do not have to control what's going to happen, it's going to burn everything down. So something like this, weight training is not very dangerous. If you do it properly, you should be fine. In fact, if I will try my best to find back. I think there's some research shows like the injury rate for like someone who do weights, i.e. a bodybuilder or like a powerlifter or weightlifter, the injury rate is like 2 every 1,000 hours. I cannot think right now, but you tell me 1,000 hours is like how many days? So imagine how many days of 1,000 people, the 1,000 hours, the average rate is only 2. So you might want to think about it, the actual rate is very low. Whereas compared to football, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 100 hours, there will be like 6 to 7 accidents like that, 6 to 7 injuries, sorry. So again, not trying to bash football or anything, but just giving you that everything has a risk. But we can always do it with low risk, the highest reward. It is possible. Weight training may be your ticket to go. Alright? So I hope this video helps you out. So to clarify, if you have any current problem, you might want to find professional help, like your physiotherapy, your doctor, or surgeon, or whatever. Alright? Now, then only you can refer to me, and what I'm sharing you is based on my personal opinion, and some of my clients who used to come and they wear this knee guard, they told me they got knee pain, they got flat foot, arch foot, they told me they got back pain, you name it. There's some shoulder, elbow tendonitis because they used to play golf, all those things. But when you train them properly with weight training, it seems like not only we can prevent further problems, it helps to actually reverse the effect, right? I'm pretty sure, in fact, I'm very strongly convinced that I'm not the only one. For if it's real, I'm some Jesus or something like that, right? I'm obviously not a Jesus or I'm not a prophet or anything, right? So just maybe there's something that you want to consider is that maybe you want to give weight training a go, see how it goes. Weight training, not just I want to keep my joints healthy and anything, it also helps you to, if your goal is to lose weight, or your goal is to gain some muscle, it's just that thing for you. So you might want to consider, give a thought, make sure you train with weights properly, do it in proper form, being consistent, trying to progress. You will just do all these simple principles. I can assure you, you will be in safe hands. Alright. Now, some red flags, what to think about it. So I recapped everything, what you want to reflect. Some red flags is number one, when you do some of this thing, right? If you ever hear someone say, oh, lifting weight is bad, 9 out of 10 of them, number one, form is wrong. Number two, people who say like this usually they themselves don't even lift weights. For if it's true, all the grandma in the world are injured probably because of lifting weight, right? And all the Olympic weightlifter, once they retire, they'll be in a wheelchair, right? This kind of cases I tell you is very rare, alright? Especially the weightlifters on a wheelchair thing. I've yet to see, to be very frank. If you have, probably it's among 1,000, probably that one unfortunate soul only. So obviously it's way lesser, right? And always remember, you don't use it, you will lose it. Meaning, if you keep yourself inactive, guess what? It's not going to solve the problem. If anything, but it makes you even more stiff, even tighter, or you know, you might have at least joint issues and so on. So it's good to go and be active doing weight training. Whether even if you just want to do running or anything, that's fine. Do some running, but in the long run, to be frank, weight training is a better use of your time and also effort, so to speak. Alright, there is a reason why people lift weights usually. Again, I'm not lying or what. This is just my opinion. You would see people attempt to lift weights, they live a bit longer, they are a bit more mobile, they rarely use tongkat, and they eat very well, they sleep very nice, they really feed themselves very nice. So maybe there's something to learn from some of these bodybuilders or even these powerlifters or strength athletes. They feed themselves very well. You don't need to do exactly to them to the gram, but at least you can always take some of their principles and put it on your own. Like ask yourself simple things like, how can you improve your sleep? How can you do your strength training properly? I've this showed so many times. Even if you do not have access to the gym is too expensive, gym is not your thing, you're scared that someone picking you at the gym, whatever that reason is, or because it's raining, it's very far from the place, any reason they have, you can still lift weights at home. That's why I put workout from home videos, so you can, you know, take some of these home exercise, household item, and do some workout. It's just plain simple. Do not complicate things, alright? And last one, just a small little bonus, right? Now, first of all, I want to thank to some of people who post this question. I appreciate that, those great questions. Keep those great questions coming. And I also want to give some special credits to some of my friends who they themselves are physiotherapists, and one of them is even personal trainer / physiotherapist also. So that helped me a lot. So give me some ideas, give me some points so I can share with you guys. Shout out to them. And last but not least, whatever you do, always remember is to be active, do your strength training. You always remember, just because you have arthritis or what, it's never too late. You can still make a change by doing weight training, but seek professional help. Now, could you use a personal trainer? Probably. What does a personal trainer do? A personal trainer is not just a PE teacher that just helps you count reps. We also make sure that you do your form properly. So when your form is properly, you reduce all the risk of injury, and if anything but, helps you to improve your goal even faster. Alright? So that's all for today. It's a wrap. Now, one red flag, forgot to tell you. If you have, preferably, you seek professional help, right? If they themselves lift weights, goes to the gym, that's a bonus. I think those are thumbs up, because they themselves walk the talk, they themselves do strength training. In fact, if you go to a very responsible physiotherapist center, or whatever you call it, the center, or whether you go to some, some anti-joint, sorry, not joint, like arthritis, those kind of places, if those responsible, right, you notice not only they have a bed and a counter like that, they also have like some sort of weight area room like that. Is it because the gym, the person there likes to lift weights? No, it's actually for you, for the patient, if you will, or the client, to lift weights and slowly become stronger throughout the process, so they can prevent all this pain. So in a nutshell, doing a lot of stretching, doing a lot of strength training can and will help to improve the situation. Alright, so I don't talk so much. You notice this video, on my talking style review, is always you find out I'll go round and round and keep beating the bush and go the same topic over again. Because I'll be very frank, it's nothing fancy. If you're here to find some magic trick, if you're trying to find some super solution, I got bad news for you, man. I don't have it. Right? So what I know is some ways that is sustainable for you, so you can do it for now and forever. Right? So that's all from my side. Catch you on Thursday. Thursday as usual, we're going to talk about workout. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments below. And I'll catch you next time. Alright, till then, you guys stay safe and remember to work out from home. Bye bye.